let's just do one thing. Let's just create a new project for our session today. Okay. And over here, I'm going to create a session. I'm going to create a project, by the way. It's reactive, let's say I2. And by the way, this is the reactive iteration 2, which will run for 6 more sessions, which will kind of a little bit of advanced. But the thing is, it's not advanced. It's just the continuation of my last reactive iteration. And we are covering the basics of reactive, which is the prerequisite of Spring Boot webflux. Okay. So let's just go to the archetype over here for our project, and let's just choose Maven Quick Start. Okay. And that's it. Let's just try creating our project. All right. So basically, I won't be doing much today. My intention for today's session is just to recap things. I got few pings like you guys are off for Diwali, and I will make sure to make this recording available, right? So you guys can watch recording and can practice the thing. Well, I won't be doing much thing today, but I will be doing also a very important thing today. Okay, I just want to recap everything that we have learned. So I'm going to be asking you a few questions, and you guys can answer me, and accordingly, I'm going to be coding. So what I'll be coding today. So I'm planning to give my own implementation for the reactive stream specification. If you guys know, the reactive stream is a specification given by a group of engineers from different companies, and Java has an adaptation to that. Okay, it gives us some kind of interfaces like publisher, subscriber, subscription, processor, some kind of interfaces like this. And for implementations for this specification, we have used Project Reactor throughout this course. But today, what I'm going to do, I won't be using Project Reactor much. Rather, I will be planning to give my own implementation to the reactive specification, just to make sure that you guys have a good understanding on the reactive spec and how it works. And we have done a little bit of stuff, previously, in our last iteration, and we understood different methods that the subscriber has, different methods that the subscription has, and we have used Project Reactor's implementation for the same. But today I won't be using Flux or Mono as a publisher. Rather, I'll try creating my own publisher. I told you guys not to create your own publisher because you have very good implementation coming from Project Reactor. But in today's session, we just want to learn things. We just want to make sure that our understanding is correct and everything is on place, right? Like you and me both understand reactive specification well. That's the only intention, right? So you can practice this session just to make sure that you grabbed all the understanding and you are on the right track. Okay, because if you understood reactive thing, how the reactive stream works, then this lesson should be super easy for you. But let's just try. Maybe you're gonna have to practice for a couple of times to get everything right. So let's just get started with this. Okay. Cool. So first of all, in our project, let's just have our project set up. Okay, I'm recording everything, right? So, okay, I'm recording this. And I hope that you guys are able to hear me. Can you just confirm me well? Confirm me the same one more time, guys. You guys are able to hear me, right?
Okay. Yes, Abhilash. Yes,
okay, yes. Perfect. Cool. So let's just go to our source main. Before I code anything, first of all, let's just go to our pom.xml. Just for the formalities, let me just add the Project Reactor API to my class path, because I want the Project Reactor to be available over here in my project, class path. I will go to Maven repo, and I'm gonna be searching for Project Reactor. So Project Reactor. Okay. All right. Project Reactor, and click on this non-blocking reactive foundation for JVM. Okay, let's click on this. Let's just go to this dependency, copy this, go back to your project. Okay, paste your dependency over here. Okay, all good over here. One second. Let me just reload my Maven project. Okay. Once everything is in sync, I also want to change the Java version of mine. I don't remember whatever version I have chosen. Let me just change the Java version. Let me just look for Java 8 Maven compiler, and I will just grab this couple of things. Okay, source and target. I'll close this. I'll go to my IntelliJ and paste it over here and change this to Java 19 or something. Okay. So I have only these two dependencies. Sorry, this one dependency called project reactor, and I got this source and target set to Java 19. Okay. And I think I'm all good. We can get started right now. So I'll go to source main and over here, let me create a new package. Okay. First of all, what I want to do, I want to create a publisher for an example, and the publisher will be keep publishing data. Okay. So keep publishing what kind of data? Imagine it is going to keep publishing some names. Okay. In your previous sessions, if you remember, I have created some kind of name flux, which is supposed to create a lot of names to you. So like supposed to produce a lot of names to you, and you being a subscriber can subscribe to that flux and can keep consuming the names from the flux or from the publisher. But right now, as I have told you, like I won't be using flux. Flux is a publisher given by the Reactive API implementation, which is the project reactor. But today I want to create my own flux. I want to create my own publisher. Okay. So to create my own publisher, first of all, I'll create a class called publisher, and let's say I'm going to say publisher impl. Okay. The class name is publisher impl. Let's just create this class. Okay. And I just want to move it to a package. So create a package called, let's say, publisher, and move this publisher impl to this package. Okay. All good. So this is my publisher implementation, and this is going to implement to one of the interfaces that we have in a reactive stream. If you want to create a publisher, then you have to implement to this interface called publisher coming from org.reactive stream. Okay. And now this publisher is going to publish what? Let's say this publisher is going to publish a lot of names. Okay. It's going to be a name producer or a name publisher. A lot of names like Avilas, X, Y, Z, something like that. Okay. So this is going to give you a lot of names. So names are represented in string in Java. So I'm going to be defining the type over here. And the publisher has only one method, okay, that I want to override over here. Okay. What is that method name? The method name is subscribe. Okay. And the subscribe method accept what kind of object? A subscriber object. Don't see the generic. Okay, I'll tell you what do you mean by this. So that means this subscriber will be only be type of string, but that's fine. We are going to accept a subscriber here inside the subscribe parameter. Okay, I think this is clear. So if somebody want to create somebody want to use this publisher, which is going to produce a lot of names. Okay. So what is supposed to do? Maybe if this is my client application, I'll go over here. I'll remove this. Okay. I'll expand this once. So if somebody want to use my publisher that I'm creating, you can do something like this. Publisher is equal to new publisher impl is the implementation that I've given for my publisher. And you can just do publisher.subscribe, and there you go. And inside the subscribe, what do you want to pass? A subscriber object. You can see this subscribe method coming from the publisher, and what it accepts? A subscriber instance over here. Okay. So right now, this publisher impl, whenever somebody want to call this method, they need to pass a subscriber object over here. Okay, right over here. Whenever you're calling this method, you need to pass a subscriber. We don't have a subscriber yet, isn't it? So let's just create a subscriber right now. So I'm gonna create another package where I'll keep my subscribers. So I'm gonna create a new package and I'm gonna say subscriber. Okay, so imagine this is the subscriber. We'll be creating a subscriber which will be subscribing to our producer that we have created over here, which will be subscribing to whatever publisher, like the publisher impl that we have created over here. It will whatever the data this publisher impl will be publishing, this subscriber that I'll be creating will be subscribing to that. Okay, so I'm going to create a new Java class. It's going to be subscriber impl. Okay, and the subscriber impl right now implements subscriber. Okay, and now this subscriber is going to be subscribing to what kind of data? String kind of data, right? Why we're subscribing to string? Because this subscriber I'm creating to attach it with this publisher, and my publisher will be keep on publishing data which will be of string type. And this, if you just for your clarity, this will be publishing a lot of names. Okay, this is going to be a name publisher. Okay, a lot of names it will be publishing, and we'll be subscribing to that over here. And if we are implementing to this interface subscriber, it has a lot of methods that we have inside the subscriber interface. We have to override it. Anybody remember what kind of methods that we have inside the subscriber interface? Like 1 or 2 or 3 methods that if you can remember. Yes. Yes.
On next.
On next, correct. Anything else? On next is a method.
On error.
On error, perfect.
For method is there.
Unsubscribe. Keep talking, guys. Keep talking. Yeah, thank you, Arvaz. Unsubscribe and on complete. I'm coding, so maybe a lot of charts will pop out on my screen. So just keep talking. Okay. So on error you said, on complete you guys said, and on next you guys said. Okay. So all these methods are there inside the subscription impl. Okay. So let's just go to our app.java. So we're creating our publisher instance. And right now we are calling the subscribe method, but the publisher impl subscribe method takes the subscriber object in the parameter. So in order to get rid of this compilation error, what we're supposed to do, we need to create a subscriber instance. So I'm going to say subscriber is equal to new subscriber impl. This is the class that you have created, subscriber impl class. And now I can pass in the subscriber object over here to the subscribe method of my publisher, and now all happy, right? So now I'll be able to subscribe to this. So now my subscriber is connected. The subscriber that we have created is right now connected to the publisher, right? So now the publisher and the subscriber are connected. Okay, so you understand that the subscribe method belongs to this publisher, right? So somebody is giving you the subscriber object over here. So now, if you understood the past few lectures of this course, tell me, upon a successful when a subscriber tries to subscribe, now the subscriber is trying to subscribe. Okay, whenever he's trying to subscribe and asking the publisher that, okay, I want to subscribe here by passing in this instance, what publisher does at first? Anybody remember? What is the way for the publisher to tell the subscriber that the subscription is successful? Anybody remember? No. Tell me, guys. Tell me. I won't be able to run. It's called the unsubscribe method. Correct, Arvaz. Please keep talking, Arvaz, so that I will be able to run my slides. You are absolutely correct, Arvaz. And that's the flow. Imagine this is the publisher. Okay, forget about this flux. We're creating our own publisher right now. Imagine this is your publisher impl. And your publisher impl has a lot of things in it. Okay, so if this is a subscriber, if the subscriber want to subscribe to this publisher, hey, I want to subscribe, is calling the subscribe method right now of the publisher. And the way the publisher will let the subscriber know that the subscription is successful is by calling the onSubscribe method. And upon the unsubscribe method whenever it calls. It's the responsibility of the publisher to create a subscription object and to give it to the subscriber. Okay, so that using that subscription object, it can request for data, right? We have discussed all these things. So let's just go back to our IntelliJ. So now the subscriber is creating its instance and giving it to the publisher. Now here goes my publisher subscribe method right over here. Let's just go over here, publisher subscribe. I'm getting the subscriber instance over here, isn't it? This is the subscriber instance. Whenever somebody calls it, I'm going to be getting this instance. Now, using this instance right now, what I supposed to do, I supposed to call the onSubscribe method, as you guys said. Okay, the publisher will call the onSubscribe method first upon the subscription is successful. Okay, so here I'm going to be passing in the subscriber instance, whatever you are giving it. Sorry, not the subscriber. OnSubscribe method it will call, right? The subscriber onSubscribe method. Look at this. The subscriber impl, it has a onSubscribe method. What it takes? A subscription object, right? And I will say here, I'll give it a log over here, s out. Let's say subscription successful. So let's say subscription successful. So whenever the whenever the publisher will be accepting let's say here you are calling the subscribe method, right? The subscribe method goes to what? The publisher. The publisher is here. This is the subscribe method. It's accept the subscriber, whatever you are passing over here, right? You are passing the subscriber over here. We're accepting it over here. And right now, on top of the subscriber, we're calling the onSubscribe method because we want to say that, okay, our subscription is successful. But the onSubscribe method, if you're going to see the spec, it takes a subscription object, right? So we need to pass a subscription object. So it's a responsibility of the publisher to create the subscription object and hand it over to the subscriber whenever the subscription is successful. So we will be also be creating a subscription object here. So I'm going to create a Java class and I'm going to be creating a subscription impl, okay? And the subscription impl is going to implement to the subscription interface that we have inside the reactive stream, okay? So subscription impl implements subscription from the org.reactive stream, and the subscription has a couple of methods, if you guys remember, right? Let's just implement those methods over here. There we go. It has the request method and the cancel method, okay? And the subscriber will be using the subscription object to ask or to request for data to the publisher, if you guys remember, right? So now let's just go to our publisher impl, okay? So whenever I'm calling the onSubscribe method of the subscriber, the publisher will do what? It will create a subscription object, right? So I'm going to do subscription, and subscription is equal to new subscription impl. This is the class that you have created just right now, and pass in the subscription object right over here, okay? And there you go. Now you're able to link everything, isn't it? So you have now look at this. Now in the app, you are creating the publisher, calling the subscribe method, passing in the subscriber instance, okay? So let's just go to the publisher impl. Here you're accepting the subscriber, then calling the onSubscribe method of the subscriber because you want to let the subscriber know that the subscription is successful. Now, the onSubscribe method accepts the subscription object. So you're creating a subscription object and giving it to the onSubscribe method. Now, if you're going to go to your, you are calling this method onSubscribe, go to the subscriber impl. So you're calling this onSubscribe method and you are accepting the subscription object sent by the publisher. And here you can request for data right now, isn't it? So there you go. So let's just try to go to our app.java and let's just try running our application. Let's just see what is going to happen. Okay. So now if I'm going to run this, you can see subscription is successful right now. So we get our log from our subscription impl, from our subscriber impl, and you can see onSubscribe method is getting called. That means the publisher is telling the subscriber is calling this method and saying that, okay, your subscription is successful and handing over a subscription object. So if you want to see that object, you can just do s out of s, okay? And if we're going to run this again, the same code, you can see your subscription object will be printed over here right now. Now using this subscription object right now, you can request for data to the publisher. Okay, so far is good, understandable, whatever I have done. Guys, confirm me once. Abhishek,
Yes.
Yes, Abhilash.
all good. Swati, all good, right? I'm not confusing,
yes.
right? Everything is
Yes,
on
Abhilash.
track. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
yes.
Now tell me, guys. So now the subscription is successful, right? So you are getting this log right now on the screen. Let me just remove this S object that I'm printing over here, and let me maximize my screen. Okay, now tell me, guys, what is the way to request for data? Right now, here we are linking both our publisher and subscriber, right? Now, how can the subscriber right now can access data to the publisher? Okay, I have already given you the answer. Now you have the subscriber, you are subscribing. This normal fundamentals, okay? When you request for data, what you basically do? Now, how can you ask, being a subscriber, how can you ask for data to the publisher? Yes, anyone?
Request method.
Request method?
Abhilash.
Request method is there inside which class?
Subscription.
Who gives the subscription object?
Publisher.
Okay, and who will call now the subscriber?
Client.
Exactly, client. Now the subscriber supposed to call the publisher that, okay, get me the data, and to ask the data, the subscriber will use the subscription object and call the request method and can ask for the data, right? And then what will happen? Then the publisher will call which method? The onNext method, right? Every time it's going to push the data, it's going to call the onNext method of the subscriber, okay? And I think you remember this diagram, right? And open is emit all the data. It will do what? It will call the onComplete method, right? Whenever it is done, okay? I think you remember this much, right? And if you are remembered this much, then I'm good. So let's just go to IntelliJ right now. Now let's just ask for data. So we're calling the subscribe method. Okay, where is the subscribe? In the publisher. Okay, so here goes the subscribe. We're accepting the subscriber, calling the subscriber unsubscribe, passing in the subscription. Cool. So now let's just go to the unsubscribe of the subscriber. Okay, let's just go to our subscription impl. Sorry, subscriber impl. We have unsubscribe method. Okay, so now we are getting a subscription object. So we can request for data. Okay, s.request. Let me just rename this variable so that it will be easier for you. So let me say subscription, and I'm going to say subscription.request. So how many data we can request? Let's say we're requesting for one data or one event. Okay. So now whenever we request, so what will happen? This request method will be called. Request method is there over where? Inside the subscription. Let's just go to the subscription impl. So this method will be called. Say, maybe I can say sout subscriber has requested, okay, let's say n is your requested data, okay, n data. All right. So right now, let's say I have this request thing over here. So all good. So now the next thing, what I'm gonna do, so this method need to be called right now. Let's just run our program one more time. Okay, let's see our request is getting called or not. You can see subscription is successful. Now the subscriber has requested one data. Okay, so subscriber is requesting over here. So the request method is inside the subscription. So let's just go to the subscription right over here. So you can see this line is getting printed. Okay, now let's say right now somebody is requesting for one item. Open the request method. Okay, once the request method is called, okay, now the now this request method supposed to do what? It will call the subscriber on next method in order to give the subscriber data, right? So what we need to do right now, we're supposed to call the on next method to push the data to the subscriber. So now let's just say we have like, how can we don't have any subscriber reference. Let's just have the subscriber reference over here, something like this, because the subscriber has a onNext method, right? Subscriber.onNext. Using this on next method, we can give the subscriber data, isn't it? Let's say we are giving the subscriber a data. Let's say Abhilash, okay? It's supposed to give a name, right? Or poor, bar, or something like, a name, you just put it over here. Now the on next method will be called. Now on next method is there where? Inside the subscriber. So on next will be receiving the data, that data that it is pushing. If you guys remember, if it is pushing Abhilash, that Abhilash will be received over here, right? So let me just say s out. Let's say data received, and I'm gonna be printing my data over here. Okay, so I'm gonna say s. There you go. Okay, or maybe say, let's say data or something I can say. Okay, and I'm gonna say data over here. Okay, and I'll have one more log over here. Let's say on next method called, something like this. Okay, let's just see what is going to happen right now. Let's just go to our app.java. Okay, now let's just run this. Okay, see the link. Okay, now we have an error, and we are saying that subscriber is null. So that's why the subscription impl.request is giving you a null pointer exception, and that's valid because you can see in the subscriber impl what you are doing whenever you are requesting, you are using the subscriber object. You are doing subscriber.onNext, and you're giving one data. Imagine this data will be random. It may be Abhilash or foo or bar or something, right? The data will be getting from database or something. Right now I'm hard coding this data. But to push this data, what I'm using, the subscriber object. Okay, but is it initialized? No. So how can we initialize it? Let me have a constructor, and whoever will initialize the subscription impl, it has to give the subscriber object so that we can instantiate this reference that we have, and we can make it a private variable. Okay, so there you go. So who is calling the subscription impl? Who is creating this object so that it can give us the subscriber instance so that we can use it over here? The subscription impl has been created over here. Who is creating the subscription object, guys? If you remember so far, who is creating this object, subscription impl object? Anyone?
Publisher.
Publisher. So already we can see there is an error over here. In the publisher, we have the subscription initialization. So we need to make sure the subscriber that we are receiving, if you remember, this subscribe method belongs to the publisher, and you are just doing publisher.subscribe, and you're creating a subscriber instance and giving it to the publisher. So you already have the subscriber instance. So copy that instance and put it over here. Okay, now all good. So we're giving the subscriber instance over here to the subscription. And now if you're going to go to the subscription impl, now here we will accept that subscriber and initialize this to here, and we can call the on next method right now. Okay, now let's just run our application one more time. Let's just see if we are having some data flowing over here, and all good. The subscriber has requested for one data, and the on next method has called, and the data has been received by the on next method, which is Abhilash. Okay, I think all good. Now let's say I'm going to request for 2 data, okay, or 3 data or 4 data. Okay, it sounds bad, 4 data. Okay, maybe we can say 4 events or 4 objects. That's fine, but yeah, okay, I think you understand that. Okay, now how can we request for more data right now? Okay, I can go to subscription impl. Okay, and let's say if I'm going to call this request method for 2 times, okay, where I'm calling this request method, maybe from the subscriber. Upon the successful subscription, unsubscribe method will be called by the publisher. Then we are requesting for data over here. Let's say I'm going to request for data for 3 times. Okay, or maybe for 10 times. Then what will happen? Then if I'm going to request the data for 10 times, then which method will be called? Request method will be called, right? So where is the request method? In our subscription, right over here. Here we have the request. In the request method will be called, and now the request method should call the on next method for the 10 times and will be printing Abhilash for 10 times. But we are not doing that. So even though we are requesting for 10 data, we will still get only 1. Okay, on next method is getting called only once because we are not calling the on next method. So let's just implement that. Maybe I'll have a for loop over here. I'm going to say for, and I'm going to say int. Okay, and whatever data that we ask over here, I'm going to have that iteration going over here, and I'm going to call the on next method for that many times, right? And if I'm going to run this right now, if I'm going to ask for 10 data, okay, 10 times the onNext method is getting called, and obviously we're returning the same data only, but you can see the onNext method is getting called for 10 times, right? So everything is in sync. Okay, I think you understand how this flow goes. If I'm going to run this, so right now 10 times the onNext method is getting called, because upon the subscribe, okay, upon the subscribe over here, okay, whenever you are calling the onSubscribe method upon a successful subscription, the subscriber right now has requested for 10 data. Okay, I think till here we are good, right? Can you confirm me everything made sense right now? Whatever I have done, whatever implementation that I have done, or you want me to re-explain anything if something has been misunderstood? Can you guys confirm me once? Okay, you understand this flow, whatever I have implemented so far?
Yeah, understood.
Understood, right?
Yeah.
Okay, not confusing, right? I haven't confused, right?
Not confused.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
All right, good. So the next thing, now the thing is, okay, we're getting only one kind of data every time, right? So how can, maybe we can use some picker or something to produce new data every time. So you can see right now, every time somebody is requesting us data, right? Somebody is asking for 10 data or 20 data. Then what we're doing, we're running a for loop over here, and we're calling the onNext method for 10 time and pushing this data of Vilash, this name of Vilash to the subscriber for 10 times by calling the onNext method, right? But this data belongs to maybe some kind of API or some kind of database. This should be random. This could be anything. So maybe what I can do, to create random data, what I can do, maybe I can use some picker API. That will be better. Maybe I can look for Java picker. Okay, Java picker. Use this picker API to, this is going to help you to create random names, random telephone number, random emails, random addresses or something. Okay, so now let me just copy this API, go back to your Maven, pom.xml, and put it over here. Okay, paste it, and I'm gonna make sure that it is in sync. Now let me go to the subscription impl, where we are requesting for data. Okay, and over here we gonna be producing new data. So I will be using this new thing called feca. Okay, it's not. Let me import this feca and feca, and let me initialize this straight away. Maybe I think get instance or something. They have some static method. Okay, let me use this faker.instance to initialize it. And using this faker right now, there is some methods here inside the onNext. Instead of saying Vilash here, I'm gonna create new name. So I'm gonna say faker.name. Okay, and I think this name is going to give you what? A object, or what it is returning. It's going to return you something called name. Maybe it is their own class. Maybe to get, we need a string. Our onNext method, basically takes a string. So maybe I'm going to say first name. Okay, something like this, and it's going to give you random names right now. So if I'm going to go to my app.java right now, and if I'm going to run this, so you can see you'll be getting some random names here. Okay. Okay, maybe we can have a complete name. So we can go to our subscription impl, and here maybe we can just have, we can give a space, and maybe we can also have the last name. So we can have a space here, we can end it off over here, and we can call the last name method of the faker. Okay, now this is going to get you some new name, and this should be a complete first and last name. Okay, and I'm sure that you understand this, right? The way it works. Okay, now okay, so basically, if I'm gonna go to my main app, let's say this is the client, and if the client is subscribing right now, so basically, if I'm gonna subscribe over here, we're gonna be getting some names over here, right? This is our name publisher. We're subscribing to our name publisher. Whenever we're trying to subscribing to the name publisher over here, our subscriber is getting new names over here. So how many names that the subscriber is getting? So that we are controlling where? We are controlling that internally, right? So we are controlling that over here inside the subscriber impl. Okay, subscriber impl. Upon the successful subscription, on subscriber will be called, and here we are requesting for data. Let's say instead of requesting for data internally, I will give the client to, let's say, ask for data, right? So how can we do that? 1 second, guys. Let me connect my phone and chat. Let me connect on computer and chat, by the way. Okay, let's say we don't want to ask for data over here inside the unsubscribe. So if I'm going to remove this, then what will happen if I'm going to remove that unsubscribe? Guys, what will happen if I'm going to remove that unsubscribe? Right now, if I'm going to go to if I'm going to remove that, request over here, that thing over here, this request thing that if I'm going to remove over here, then what will happen? If I'm going to go to app.java, if I'm going to run this, do you think the data will be keep on, I'll be keep on getting the data over here, or I'll not be able to get the data over here?
Not able to get the data, Abhilash.
Why?
So we are not requesting, right? Abhilash?
Exactly. That's what I want to hear. You won't be getting any data because nothing happens until you request, right? Right now, you can see only the subscription is successful. Whenever you call this method, the publisher is calling the unsubscribe method of the subscriber, and is saying subscription successful. Right now, if you want to get the data, if you want to request for the data, then you need to do that. Now, this is my client, right? I want to give my client the option to request for data, right? So how can we do that? So if I'm going to go to the subscriber, instead of requesting data over here, okay, I will expose this subscription object over here to outside so that my client can use the subscription object to, request for data. So how can we expose the subscription object? Maybe what I can do, I can do subscription over here, okay, and make it a private variable. Now we are getting the subscription object from the publisher, right? So I'm going to set this to this subscription object. So I'm going to say this dot subscription is equal to subscription. So whatever subscription object my publisher is giving me upon a successful subscription, okay, I'm going to set that to this variable, and I'm going to expose this variable, right? I'm going to have a getter method, come to the down, control N, create a getter method, and there you go. Okay, you have a get subscription method. Now, in your app.java, the client has the control right now. You can just do subscriber. It has the subscriber instance, okay, but this subscriber will not have that get subscription method that we have created, because this is the root subscriber. Subscriber impl is our class where we have given this method, okay? So what we can do is, 1 second. Okay, my camera is switched off. Okay, no worries. Okay. So what we can do is, we can take this, we can go to our app.java. Over here, instead of saying subscriber, we can say subscriber impl, put it over here, okay? Now you have the subscriber instance, and you can just do get subscription, something like this, okay? And if you're going to do get subscription right now, you can also get the subscription object, and you can use request, and you can ask for 3 or 4 or 5 or 10 or 20 as many data that you need, right? If you want to run this right now, you'll be able to get 10 data, right? And if you're going to make it 20, you're going to be able to get 20 data from the publisher, right? So we are exposing the subscription object from the subscriber, and using that right now, our client can request for data. Now, what if I'm going to do long.unbound? So long.max value, then I'm going to asking for like unlimited data. I can think like that, and you can see you're going to be keep getting a lot of data over here. The publisher will be keep on pushing all this data to you means you as a subscriber, okay? And I think you understand that, right? So far, everything is good. You understand this request we're using for backpressure control, right? So how many data that we need being a subscriber. The subscriber can ask data whenever it wants, right? Let's say right now it can ask for 2 data, right? And after 5 minutes, it will ask for 5 data. That also possible, right? Let's say it is asking 2 data, right? Now here you are making it sleep or something, okay? And then you are again asking for 20 data. And then let's say it goes and sleep. And then it's asking for 30 data. It can ask data like this also, right? Whenever the subscriber needs it, it can ask for data, right? So this is for your backpressure control. And I think that you guys are in sync so far. Okay. And once the subscriber emits everything, okay, let's say right now, sorry, once the publisher emits everything, now you're asking for, let's say, 10 data or 20 data or 30 data. Let's say the publisher has only 30 names. Once it emits everything, then what will happen, guys? Once the publisher
On complete will be.
complete, exactly. Right now we are asking for unlimited data, isn't it? So if you're going to go to our request, where it is, so if I'm going to go to my subscription impl, if I'm going to go to my request, now I'm asking for, let's say, n means it will be unlimited. Let's say we'll have some constraint, okay? Maybe maximum it can give you 30 or 40 or 50 data. So maybe we can have a max count over here. Let's say something like this. Private, let's say int, let's say max count, okay, max data or something, let's say, and let's say max data is, let's say, 10, okay? And now I will only emit 10 data, okay, just to make sure that, I will give you an example of incomplete, okay? So max data is 10, and let's say I'm gonna have another variable called private int count, okay, and count equal to 0. So every time I'm gonna emit some data, our next method is getting called, I'm gonna do count plus plus, okay? And I'll have one more restriction over here, and I'm gonna say end, count is less than max data, okay? So now let's just go to our app.java. I'm asking for, let's say, long dot on max value. I'm asking for unlimited data, but I think how many data I will get over here? Okay, only this much. It is not giving you many data, as many data that you are asking over here, because it can only have, let's say, 20 data or 30 data or something like that. Right now I've set some constraint to make sure my publisher has limited amount of data right over here. Let's say if I'm going to go to my subscription impl here, there is some constraint I put over here, so it can only emit 10 elements, let's say. Okay, now upon emitting 10 elements, so let's say publisher doesn't have more data, okay, the publisher has only 10 elements, okay, then once everything has been emitted, then as you said, we should be calling the onComplete method, right? So I can just do s out, and I'm going to say, let's say, onComplete method called, okay? The subscriber, you can see subscriber impl, the onComplete method will be called over here. Let's say onComplete method called. Okay, so let's just see whether we are calling this, whether this method is getting called. Let's just go to app.java. Let's just run this. Okay, it's emitted everything. We're asking for as many data it has, but it has emitted everything. But the onComplete method is not called, right? Because this is our own implementation, so we need to make sure that it is getting called. So how to make sure that happens? Let's just go to the subscription impl, okay? And let's say maybe what we can do in your request method, let's say if we can check if the max data that we have, if the count is equal to the max data or something, we can check over here. Count equal to max data, then like s out publisher has emitted all data, okay, and maybe I can call the onComplete method. So I can just do subscriber dot onComplete method. Okay, that we don't have any more data to give you, right? So that's it. So we have the subscriber instance. So we are calling the onComplete method over here. Okay, so let's just see whether that happens. After Java, let's say I'm asking for everything that you have. So after emitting everything, we should have a onComplete method called. Okay, so that's how the publisher works, right? Subscription successful. Then we have requesting this many data. It has given all the data that it has, and once everything is done, it's calling the onComplete method. Okay, all good, guys. And one last thing, guys, just tell me if I'll cancel the request over here. Let's say I'm asking for 2 data. Okay, then it'll give me only 2 data, right? Right over here, I have asked for 2 data. Now it's giving me 2 names over here. Let's say I'm again going to ask for 2 more data, right? Then again it's going to get me 2 more data, right? So once this 2 has given, I've again requested for 2 data, is giving me these 2 names. Okay, let's say after this I have cancelled. So how can I cancel? I can also cancel, right? The way I have requested for data using the subscription object, my subscriber also exposes the subscription object. I can also use cancel to cancel my subscription, right? If I'm going to do cancel, then what will happen? So let's just go to the subscription impl. It also has a cancel method, like it has a request method. The subscription impl, the way it has a request method, it also has a cancel method. Let's say I'm going to say sout, let's say subscriber has cancelled the subscription. Okay, something like this. Okay, now if the cancel has been done, means you should not be emitting any more data, right? Let's just go to app.java. Let's just make sure to run this. Let's just see what is going to happen. I'm canceling the subscription right now, and you can see we asked for 2 data, so we got 2 here. Okay, again we asked for 2 data right over here. 2 names, I mean, I'm repeating data, I think you understand. So we're getting 2 data over here, and after that we have cancelled. After cancelling, if you're going to request, what should happen? After you cancel the subscription, if you're going to request again, then what should happen, guys? Do you think
it should not?
It should not emit.
It should not emit. Yes.
It should not emit. But we don't have that implementation, right? So even after cancelling, if we are requesting for data, it still gives us the data. So it should not happen. So maybe what we can do, we can have a restriction kind of thing. We can have a check, if check. Maybe we can have a kind of boolean. Let's say private boolean, let's say is cancelled, and let's just set it to false. Okay, and whenever the cancel is called, I'm gonna set the is cancelled to true. Okay, and before emitting the data over here, okay, I'm emitting the data over here, I'm calling the onNext method right over here, right? Before doing anything, I'm gonna check if is cancelled is true. Okay, let's say if is cancelled, if this value is true, every time it will be false if it is not cancelled, right? If it is true, then I won't be going to the next step. So I'm writing return over here so that I won't be going to this step. It will exit from here only, right? So all this code will not be called. So let's just check app.java. Okay, so I'm cancelling, and after cancelling, I'm requesting again. So will the thing work over here? No, because it will only emit 4 data, and after cancellation, it should not emit any data, and things are good, right? So you are able to practice your request, cancel, I think all the methods, right? On next, on complete, okay, on subscribe, everything you have practiced, okay? On error is remaining, but you can just have some error condition, something like maybe some kind of error condition you can create, and maybe you can handle it over here. I've told you how to do that, but that's fine, right? Like the subscriber also can emit error, right? I told you it can emit the data. It can also emit the incomplete event, but it also has it also can the publisher, sorry, the subscriber will not emit. The publisher can emit the data. Whenever it emits the data, it will call this. Whenever the publisher says the subscription successful, it will call this. Whenever the publisher will be done emitting the data, it will call this. Whenever the publisher will throw an error, then it will call the on-error method. Okay. So in your client, if you're doing something and the publisher throws an error, then being a subscriber, your on-error method will be called, right? So, okay, I don't want to implement that. Okay, maybe some simple scenario you can create by your own and try implementing this method by your own. Okay. So that's pretty much it. So if you understand the publisher, subscriber, and the subscription model, then if this thing makes sense to you, then everything that I have coded right now should make sense to you as well, right? So that's it. So I haven't done anything today. I haven't coded anything today. This is just how your reactive stream works, and maybe few lessons more coming next week. And those will be pretty much into the project reactor and the way the things works, and will be the prerequisite for Spring Webflux. So if you are interested, you can join it. I know this might be confusing a little today because you haven't coded it. I was coding it all through the session. So I'll get you the recording, do practice. And if you are hearing the recording and haven't attended this lesson up for Diwali, that's fine. I haven't coded anything. Just practice it and just join from the next Wednesday. There will be 5 more sessions coming. Okay. That's pretty much it. Questions?
Abhilash, like here the request method you called, right? So in the request method, first time you requested 2, next time you requested another more 2. So like it is not actually implemented in the actual way, right? So in this implementation, but actually it has to return requested. It has to, upon requesting the next 2, it has to give the next 2 elements. But here in our case, in the
exactly.
yeah.
Exactly. This just to showcase thing, simple thing.
Got it.
Just want to make sure, like, we're giving our own implementation. We'll never create this, Swati. We'll always use that subscribe method, right? That given by, So you will never create your own publisher and your own subscription implementation. Yeah, subscriber you will be creating, but the subscription, I don't think. So this is just for understanding. So but this is good, like if you want to clear your understanding, right, the way it works. Once you implement it, you understand, okay, this is what it will be get called, this is how everything is linked, right? So okay, this is the fundamental, guys, and after that whatever I'll be telling you is going to be very simple, super simple. Trust me on that. And maybe 5-6 lessons more, and then we can wrap it off, and we can go to non-blocking reactive API using web client. Okay, and you will make REST calls using web client in a non-blocking way. Here is a term I'm using, non-blocking. What do you mean by that? That's coming up in the next session. Do not miss it. Very important thing, and maybe one of the top most interview questions these days. What is blocking APIs? What is non-blocking API, right? And how can you improve your code by implementing non-blocking way of calling calling whenever you're calling for data, maybe using an external REST service, or maybe using while you're facing data from the database. We'll be talking about this non-blocking way of calling things in our next lesson. Okay, that's pretty much it for today. So that's it then. Thank you very much and have a good day. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Abhilash.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Abhilash.
Thank you, guys.